So one of my biggest regret here in Call of Dragons is not maxing out this hero. Because this hero, Gwanwyn, is a hero that is going to propel your success in Call of Dragons in the early games. So I don't have Gwanwyn maxed out, and some of my colleagues in here, they actually have Gwanwyn maxed out already, which they have, succeeded a lot in ranking pretty high whenever we do the Behemoth challenges. So whenever I had to do Behemoth challenges, I had to struggle. Even though I am higher technology and I have a very good hero as well using Lilia. I've been seeing players do Gwanwyn and use Nico as a combo where they really do well in the Behemoth challenges, even better than mine. Now, as you guys can see, my Lilia is maxed out in here. And the Nico, there's no way one can max out a Nico here in Season 1 that are not heavy spenders. So, yeah, just put that in perspective. Gwanwyn and Nico Marksman, you want to get Gwanwyn right away in Call of Dragons to start out your initial game to be successful. Gwanwyn is an epic hero that is on the top tier of the list. And by the way, I want to introduce myself here to you guys. My name is Shinchi42. I've been doing YouTube for a while now, and today we have Call of Dragons content. And if you guys want to see more Call of Dragons videos, consider subscribing and do me a favor in here and drop a like onto the video. Now, let me know, what is the starting faction that you chose? Because with the starting faction that you choose, you are going to decide which is your starting hero. So when I first started the game, I was like, which one should I pick? Should I go for the elves? Should I go for the human? Or should I go for the orc? I decided for this time, I usually would go for human when I play these type of games. Or I would play elf because, I like, when you watch Lord of the Rings, Legolas. So, I decided to choose the orc this time, trying to be different, but huge regret as I've chosen the orc or the Wilderberg, because the starting hero that we get here is Bakar. Although the Wilderberg is great, especially for farming, because you get extra resources after you finish gathering resources. So, honestly, I would recommend that if you guys are going to start here in Call of Dragons, as the game is brand new, do not pick Wilderberg as your starting faction. You have two choices, really. You either go for the League of Order or you go for the Spring Wardens. Now, I would really recommend that you should really consider trying to go for the primary hero here in the very early stage of the game, is getting the Spring Warden, especially if you are going to be a free-to-play or a low spender. Now, if you are a big spender, then you should probably get League of Order, because with League of Order, you can get Lilia maxed out, and you can have Waldir with your Lilia, and you can be strong in PvP. But I can tell you that the Spring Wardens with the Gwanwyn and Nico can still beat you in the Behemoth top rankings in here. This is where the part that I tell you that, pretty much what I've seen is that players who have Gwanwyn as a starting hero succeeded a lot better than me. All right. Now, you will have a faction change tool. So you can go into the, items in here. Once you have reached, I believe, level 10 on your city hall, you will have a change faction. So after that, you can change faction. Whatever starting hero that, you have will be remain as your starting hero. You're still going to get more, tokens from that starting hero. So let's say you decided to pick Spring Warden in the beginning, and then you switch to Wilderberg or you switch to League of Order. That is totally fine. That by then it will be a different video, because that's going to be depending on the special unit that you are going to be working on. All right, now let's talk about Gwanwyn here. The skills of Gwanwyn. Gwanwyn is pretty strong. Gwanwyn has a skill damage factor to an enemy legion 3 times in a quick succession, as you can see here. The skill damage factor of 200 first, and then the final damage factor of 400. So as we bring out Gwanwyn here, as you can see, we can observe the skill animation of Gwanwyn. All right. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. That was the third one there. And you can see the arrow. That was pretty cool. She ended up jumping 1, 2, and then 3. There we go. The 774 is the third succession there. So, yeah, I didn't really get to work on Gwanwyn right away. I was working on Craig first, but I can tell you right now, Gwanwyn is a hero that you want in your arsenal in Call of Dragons. So the second skill here is going to be the damage towards peacekeeping, as Gwanwyn is a marksman, peacekeeping, and precision. Now, the third skill is going to be giving the marksman bonus in here. Marksman physical attack bonus of 15% and marching speed bonus of 10%. On to the last skill in here, it gives Gwanwyn's Legion, whenever it is a 50% unit count or higher, it deals 10% more damage. So this is so useful because being a marksman, you are on the back end of the line. Of course, not as back as the mage, but you are in the medium range combat, meaning you're not really tanking. So for the most part, you can remain 50% more unit count or higher, and you are going to benefit on this 10% damage dealt bonus. Now, the Awakening skill, when Gwanwyn Legions launch a normal attack, they have 50% chance to poison the target, dealing hero skill damage every second, physical damage factor of 100 for 3 seconds. So a lot of damage that is being output here from Gwanwyn. This is why when you're doing the behemoth challenges, and one thing I should tell you, as you play Call of Dragons, for my first few months in here, Call of Dragons is very different than Rise of Kingdoms. Rise of Kingdoms is mainly for PvP a lot of times. This game involves raids, which is very interesting. You get to raid behemoths. So we've done some behemoth raids. Some of them are successful, some of them are not. So yeah, this is something that you want to get. And you can see the skills here is very strong. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the talent tree for Gwanwyn. As you guys know, this is a marksman, peacekeeping, and precision. I mainly use Gwanwyn right now since I didn't really work hard on her, right? Because I didn't get a lot of the sculptures from her. I didn't get a lot of tokens from her. I use Gwanwyn as a peacekeeping for now, but it will definitely change as we enter Season 2. Now, I use her as a peacekeeping because of this war trophy. As you defeat Darklings and Dark Creatures, you're going to be able to get a good rewards in here, which is this reward right here, 5,000 gold Dark Resource Bundle. So that's what I've been doing here for my Gwanwyn setup. All right, so let's first talk about this talent tree that I have. This is more towards to the precision tree. The precision tree is actually very powerful, very interesting. So as you can see, we work towards to the overall attack, working towards to the overall defense, overall health, and then we get the Arrow of Precision, which your Legion deals 2% more normal attack damage and mitigates 1% of enemy defense while in battle, which is great. It breaks the defense in here. Now we focus onto the precision tree, and as you can see here, we go for the overall attack. We really focus a lot onto the damage, Adrenaline Rush, going for 4% more normal attack damage because we are gonna hit hard here with Gwanwyn here. And then we don't really focus on the marching speed. We don't need that. You don't want to focus a lot on the skills in here as well. We want to focus more on the damage per second here. All right. So your Legion deals 1% less hero skill damage, but attack is increased by 2.5%. So why did I chose that? Because when you look into the Gwanwyn's damage factors in here, they're not that great. It's very low, right? So let's try to increase the base attack in here, which, we're getting 15% here. We're getting damage dealt bonus in here as well. And we're getting more damage as well, right? Because all of that will increase everything here. So you have two choices before you move forward in here. You have the Invisible and as well as the Whirlwind. Both of them are RNG. They are going to be proccing, with a 10% chance. For the Invisible, this is going to be increasing the normal attack damage for 8% for 5 seconds, and I really like that. And like I said, this one, 150 damage factor, not a whole lot. I would rather go for the 8%. You can definitely hit harder with this one rather than going for the Whirlwind. Now, after we focus on the Invisible, on the Elite talent, we then focus on Cool Under Pressure. Your Legion deals 10% more normal attack damage when their unit count is above 50%, and you have the job to make sure it is above 50% because of this skill as well. When Gwanwyn's Legion has 50% unit count or higher, you will deal 10% more damage bonus. So you are at a responsibility to get that up there. And after that, you want to focus on Intrepid. Actually, there's two choices. You either go for the Rage in here, right? But like I mentioned, I'm not a big fan of the skill itself, but I'm more, big fan of the damage that we get to see from Gwanwyn. But with this one, Intrepid, it says your when casting rage skills, your Legion gain focus, increasing their normal crit rate by 5%. So that is great. We are going to hit hard. We're going to get really good crit as well. And then after that, we get your Legion deals 15% more normal attack, crit damage as well. So when you focus onto this path, you are working on your rage. And then when you cast skill here, your Legion will gain 25% chance on onslaught. The buff onslaught, increasing their normal attack damage for 2% for 5 seconds. You know what? I'd rather try my luck with the 15% more normal attack crit damage. And then onto the epic talent in here, you have 2 choices in here as well. I chose the Mark of War. Increase the attack of your Legion by 0.5 every 10 seconds up to maximum of 3%. So we get 3% in here. In a long battle, you maximize this. Now for this one, when you launch a normal attack, your Legion has a 50% chance to trigger initial normal attack. So this is a RNG. This one is not. So you pick your poison in there. I don't think one or the other is bad, but I think this one is just better in my opinion. Eventually, I will work onto the marksman in here after I finish this path. And then whatever one talent left you have, you can choose whatever you want. I decided to choose the suppression because, you know, we get more benefit from this one. Because in here, 25% chance to inflict fragility onto the target Legion when casting rage skill, increasing normal attack damage taken by 2% for 5 seconds. So we're going to make that target, you know, absorb a lot of damage from not just from us, but also from other players as well. Marksman attack in here for the marksman path, we go for more damage in here as well. Your Legion deals 5% more normal damage when launching range attack. There is a talent here that will decrease your range in here, reduce the attack range of your Legion marksman units by 3. I don't recommend this honestly because you want to be a little bit far, and being the marksman, that's one of your perks. Although if you are good at it and moving around, then you can probably use this. And it is going to be at your own risk. So I ended up choosing your Legion takes 1.5% less damage. And then eventually we chose the Bullseye. When your Legion consists of entirely marksman unit, they gain 5 stacks of attack, increase every 10 seconds while in battle. Each stack increases their attack by 1%. So that is great. Each normal attack they launch removes 1 stack. So as you can see here, we gain 5 stacks that increases every 10 seconds, but then every time we launch an attack, it will just remove that one at a time. So this is the path that I have for precision. I think this is the best one you can do rather than going for the marksman, but I'll also give you a different talent tree in here for the marksman's path. Before we move on to the next one, this one is something that you can also increase. Maybe you can choose a different path, maybe not work onto the marksman in here. You can choose to increase this if you want to be more of a support role to, you know, allow players to hit a lot more damage towards to the enemy so that they can, you know, absorb more in here. As you can see in here, increase normal damage taken. So this is another path that you can do. Working more of a support role for Gwanwyn. Into the path here for the marksman, you can see very similar to what we have for the precision. So I don't think I'm going to talk about the path that we covered with precision in here. So the thing that we really just need to talk about is the second part here for the marksman. As you can see, we focus onto the marksman HP because there's nothing really great in here. Your marksman deals more damage towards magic units. You're not always going to target the magic units. Your Legion takes 0.8 less hero skill damage. The ideal goal here is that you're on the back end. Let's just increase your HP for the marksman because the marksman HP is not really that high as well. So if we go into the spear range in here, let's take a look into the HP of my marksman. It's 183. Let's take a look into the infantry. It's 233. Let's take a look into the mage. You can see mage has the lowest one in here. And let's take a look into the wolf riders, 199. All right, so you know the HP for the marksman, they're very low. So you want to work onto that one. So after that, as you work towards this, you have an option here for delight. Increase rage accumulation speed by 15% when your Legion unit count is over 50%. Remember, with Gwanwyn, we want to have a higher unit count, so more than 50%. So you're already on that stage, so might as well get this as well. We don't really need to slow down the enemy You know, you're not really going to chase. Most of the fighting are going to be in a very controlled area anyway. You know, with this one, it's really just counterintuitive with what you're trying to do with Gwanwyn anyway. When you're down to more than 50%, I suggest go home by that time. Harvest is another talent that we added in here. Every time your legion defeats an enemy legion, their attack increases by 2.5% at a maximum of 5%, which is great because in the battle, you're going to be strong and you're going to target those players who are almost dying, right? And then kill them, get the buff, and then start targeting those players who are full health. Increase your legion's death by 0.3%. Yeah, not really. And then last word, you know, we don't really need this. This is so far more better than the other talents there. Now, the pursuit in here, when your legion consists entirely of marksman unit, they inflict fragility. When casting rage, increase normal attack damage taken by 10% for 5 seconds. So this is great because whenever you cast a rage skill, you're going to increase the normal attack damage by 10%. Again, higher damage. When your marksman legion launches a normal attack, they deal additional hero skill damage, 150, you know. This effect can trigger every 10 seconds. So honestly, if I were to give you a recommendation in here on which path you should choose, I recommend to choose this path instead. The precision tree is really good and it's very, very strong. Now, let me give you guys some advice here for the artifacts of the hero of, you know, Gwanwyn. Now, currently I use this bow for my artifacts. This is going to give us a marksman unit attack and as well as legion attack as well. Now, let's talk about the artifacts in here for the marksman. Ideally, you should be able to try to get the shadow blades. If you have the ability to get the shadow blades, this is something that you want to pair up with your marksman, and you're going to get a lot of benefit from this. A lot of damage in here. This is the best one for the marksman, as I can see with the damage in here. You can see the skill here, damage factor of 3,600. Insane. The rage requirement here is 1,200, which is pretty high. Another one to use is the Heart of Kamasi. This is also a great you know, more of a support type of role here for the marksman. So if you want to like make everybody stronger in your lineup in there, then you should definitely use the Heart of Kamasi. But of course, you are not going to deal a lot more damage in comparison to Shadow Blades, because if you want to get high rank into the Behemoth challenges, you want to use the Shadow Blades instead. Now for the epic one in here, I would recommend using the artifact Heart Piercer. This is what I have currently. It is going to give your legion, it's going to have a 2,000 damage factor in here. It's a, you know, 1 minute 30-second cooldown. And it has a 65% chance to gain physical defense break also, which is great. This is actually a good artifact here to use in a purple. You can also use the Archer Mastery Manual, but I prefer the other one instead, okay? This is for attack, and this is more for defense in here. Now, you also have another one in here, Bomb Flinger, all right? This is going to give attack as well. Pretty much this is for peacekeeping. This damage to selected darklings and dark creatures and behemoths only. So this will work on behemoths as well. So if you have this, it could work. Damage targets have 80% chance to be stunned, cannot move or act for 2 seconds. I don't know if that's going to work on the behemoth though, to stun the behemoth. So now we talked about the artifacts for Gwanwyn. Let's also talk about what possible pairings you can do. Well, the first obvious pairing that you can definitely do is Nico. So Nico is very strong to pair up with Gwanwyn. It has a high skill damage factor and great defense reduction as well. This is something that you want to use with Gwanwyn. Really strong pairing in here. Now, if you have Kinara, you also get a high damage factor in here. Target damage dealt reduction as well. You get high bonus as well. You cannot go wrong with using Kinara as a secondary or using Nico as a secondary. Now, for the epic pairing that you can pretty much just use Craig if you like. But I would really recommend to get as much gold keys as you can and try to get Nico, or you can get Kinara as well. So I really recommend, you know, get your gold key, try to get Nico. Kinara will be something that people that have to spend money on. But if you get Nico, that would be really good already and put you up in a high position. For other legendaries in here, you can, of course, use like Hosk. You can use Thea as well. You know, these are overall heroes that you can do. Now, for epic ones in here, there's not a lot of options, honestly. because the only other marksman in here that I noticed is that you only have Craig. So you pretty much have no choice but to use Craig. One thing I should say, if you do Craig, this is going to be, you know, okay March, not going to be something that is super strong. You definitely want to work slowly on to Nico. That is my really best advice for you guys here in Call of Dragons, to get Nico and do Gwanwyn, and you can actually do better. So eventually I'll have to work on my Nico as well. There's so many heroes to work on in here, but giving you guys this advice in here, when you guys are starting fresh, don't try to invest in too many in here. I have this habit of like, oh, I want all of this. Focus on one at a time, make a really one strong March that will, you know, lead you to success, because especially when you're doing behemoth challenges, you only can bring in one March at a time anyway. I don't really use my Nico, so as you can see, it has a gatherer attribute here for now. Yeah, that's one thing that I should tell you guys in here, is that when you have your secondary as well, you don't, you know, the artifact doesn't take effect, and as well as the talent doesn't take effect. But yeah, good luck to you guys. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this video is helpful. Hopefully you guys like the talent tree that we provided. Let me know, come back into this video, let me know your feedback onto the talent tree. Anyway, I'll see you guys again next time. Peace out.